başlayabilirsiniz.
Tamam. İyi günler sayın konuklar, hoş geldiniz. Umarım sesim ve görüntüm hepiniz için iyidir. Eğer ses ve görüntü konusunda bir sıkıntı olursa lütfen chat ekranından yazmaya çekinmeyin. İsmim Aysun Timur, Yeni Delhi Ticaret Müşaviriyim. Bugün elektronik sohbetler adı verdiğimiz toplantılarımızın Hindistan adına 4. defasını yapıyoruz. Çok memnunuz. Geçtiğimiz yılda 3 tane seçmiş olduğumuz sektörde bu toplantılarımızı yaptık ve çok faydasını gördük. Ben sizlere kısa bir Türkçe hoş geldiniz ve sunum sırasında olacak şeyleri anlattıktan sonra Ticaret Bakanlığı'ndan Sayın Genel Müdür Yardımcımız Cem Topbaş'a vereceğim sözü ve tekrardan sonra ben alıp konuklarımıza konuklarımızla baş başa bırakacağım. Bugün sunumumuz 1 saat 15 dakika sürecek. Bizler çok kısa bir merhaba dedikten sonra sizlere Amazon India'dan 2 konuğumuz yarımşar saat sunumlarını yapacaklar ve kalan sürede de sizlerin sorularını cevaplayacaklar. Sorabileceğiniz birçok potansiyel soruyu biz aslında önceden ilettik ama mutlaka sizlerin de sunum sırasında bazı sorularınız olacaktır. Sizlerden ricamız anlatılan bu yapılacak sunumlara odaklanmanız, sunumlarımızı iyice dinlemeniz ve sunum sırasında soru mümkünse yöneltmemeniz. İyice belki de dinledikten sonra sorularınızın cevabını sunumlarda bulabilirsiniz. Ben daha fazla söz uzatmak istemiyorum. Tekrardan sizlere bir açılış yapacağım konuklarımızdan önce. Şimdi sözü Sayın Cem Topbaş'a veriyorum. Ticaret Bakanlığı Genel Müdür Yardımcısı. Buyurun efendim.
Teşekkür ederim Aysun Hanım, Sayın Müşavirim. Bütün konuklarımıza hoş geldiniz demek istiyorum ben öncelikle. Katılımcılarımıza, hepinize tekrar bugün bizimle birlikte olduğunuz için teşekkür ediyorum. Farklı bir günde birlikteyiz. Farklı bir konseptle birlikteyiz. Müsaadenizle ben İngilizce konuşmacılarımızın da anlayacağı şekilde kısa bir giriş yapayım. Daha sonra fazla vaktinizden çalmadan konuklarımıza söz vermek istiyorum. Mr. Kartik, Mr. Sidram, and dear commercial counselors, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to join you this afternoon to this online event organized by our Ministry and commercial representatives in India for e-commerce opportunities in Indian market with Amazon India. As you know, the COVID-19 crisis accelerated an expansion of e-commerce towards new firms, customers, and types of products. As lockdowns became the new normal, businesses and consumers increasingly went digital. Nowadays, the digital marketing methods and digital trading platforms have become more important and popular than ever. Today, with the participation of Mr. Kartik and Mr. Sidram from Amazon India, this event will allow an invaluable exchange of ideas of the opportunities of e-commerce in Indian market. As the second largest internet market, Indian market offers great e-commerce opportunities. One of the largest online retail in India, Amazon gives you the chance to enter this giant market. I would like to thank them for joining us. I really appreciate for their time today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Topbaş. Thank you for your opening speech. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm all seen and audible. This is Aysun Timur. I'm the Commercial Counselor of Turkey, based in New Delhi. This is my 3rd year in India. India is a huge country and the market, and 3 years were not enough to cover this big content in every sense. And in 2020, countries had become distant. Also, world physical trade had delays and hardships during this time. But thanks to the digital life, we discovered alternative ways to improve our business relations. In this regard, today we are holding the 4th edition of our online sectoral talks with Amazon India. Allow me to thank Mr. Sidram Kaldeki and Mr. Kartik Subarayapya from Amazon India for joining us and accepting this webinar. After a short intro, I will be giving the floor to them. As we all know, e-commerce has transformed the way has transformed the ways in business in the world. It also happened in the same way in India. It was only $38.5 billion in 2017. Only last year, billions were invested by India as well as foreign companies on startups for more digitalized life, banking system, health and FMCG. By the end of 2021, Indian e-commerce market is expected to grow $84 billion and $200 billion by 2026. These are great numbers, as well as the potential. Given the facts, Turkey sees great opportunities in the e-commerce market, since Turkish companies have been ready to provide thousands of goods with good quality for Indian customers. Today we have two guests from the biggest e-retail platform of the world. We all know Amazon is one of the big 5 companies in the US in information technology industry, along with many other companies like Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Facebook. Our guests from Amazon India are going to share some valuable information for the future sellers from Turkey who have interest to be on Amazon India. Thank you, Sidram and Kartik. Now the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Saisu.
Thank you.
So Kartik, I'll start with my introduction first. Okay, hope I'm loud and clear. So I am Sidram Kaudki, and I head the International Brand Partnership for Amazon India. So our objective is to get high quality selection for Amazon customers through our trusted seller partners. Okay, and we have been working on this program for over 2 years now, and I have been with Amazon for over 2 years and building this particular program and bringing in more international brands across the globe. One of the work streams for us is to partner with the trade commissions, and that is where we work with the trade commissions closely to bring in high quality selection to India market. Over to Kartik now for the introduction and the presentation. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and it's a pleasure to be here. I know for all of you, e-commerce is not new. There are multiple e-commerce firms that have existed in Turkey. Amazon itself launched in Turkey back in 2018. There is Prime that has launched in Turkey already. We are here to talk about what has India got to offer in terms of e-commerce opportunities, what are the numbers like, what is the infrastructure that is available, and to take questions at a later stage. So with that, I'll introduce myself. I'm Kartik Subrayappa. I lead the home and the lawn and garden business for India. I've been with the Amazon ecosystem for over 9 years now, done various roles, but home as a category has always been part of my portfolio. So I look forward to this discussion. With this, we will begin the presentation that we have on offer today.
So we'll take 30 seconds to read through the disclaimer, and then we will proceed with the presentation. This is as per our legal guidelines. Moving on, over to you, Kartik.
Sure, thank you, Sidram. Yeah, as mentioned earlier, right? India is one of the countries where e-commerce is penetrating the country at a very fast pace. So this slide talks about what India has seen in e-commerce over the past 5 years. So the average growth rate over the past 5 years has been in the range of 35-36%. With that, India, the online penetration has reached to 3.4%. That means there is still a lot of headroom for growth. I'm pretty sure Turkey is also witnessing similar trends in the e-commerce space. where there is a lot of the population which is coming online, exploring the possibilities of buying goods and services through online marketplaces, which is very convenient. That's the feedback that we are getting from customers in India over the last few years, and it continues to be the trend in the next few years. So if you look at this slide, right, compare the countries that are there here. There is Thailand, there is Malaysia. These are countries where digitization happened even before India. But the rate of penetration, the rate of online penetration in India is growing faster than that. And at the other end of the spectrum, you have countries where the online penetration is high, but the growth rates are in the single digits or the low 2 digits. India is in this unique place where growth is pretty huge. And at the same time, the addressable population is also growing. With 3.4% penetration, it is still the tip of the iceberg. So let's go to the next slide, Sidram, to talk about what is leading this, right? So here we are going to talk about, we spoke about what happened in the last 5 years from say 2014 to 2019. As mentioned earlier in the presentation, the size of opportunity in e-commerce in India in 2021 stands at $84 billion. And with the next 6 years is expected to hit $200 billion. This is according to a report from Morgan Stanley. Now, what is leading to this rate of acceleration? All of us know how COVID has hit us. All of us know how COVID disrupted the retail industry and how a lot of customers have started coming online to experience online shopping. And online shopping is becoming more of a habit with customers all across the world. Largely because of the convenience that it brings, largely because of the amount of selection that customers have the opportunity to buy, and some of the things that e-commerce companies are focusing across the world is things like speed. How quickly can you deliver a product to a customer? So these are the set of pillars that Amazon has banked on in every country that Amazon has launched, which is selection, pricing, and convenience. And we're going to be speaking a bit more about these aspects when I come to a later slide. But as of now, I'm going to talk about what is driving this growth in India. Sidram, if you can go to the next slide, please. Yeah. Here in this slide, we're talking about the projected number of internet users in India, right? And it is growing from 302 million, with currently we are at say 761 million. And it is still close to half of the population in the country. And this is just the internet users. And when we draw the funnel, there is internet users and then there are shoppers. So the good part about what is happening in the country is more and more people are using the internet. More and more people are getting digitized. One of the things that is leading to this revolution in the country is the smartphone penetration in the country. Almost every person in the country is having a smartphone these days. With smartphone, there is the window that opens up for any person to explore all the opportunities that are there in terms of e-commerce, in terms of content, in terms of entertainment, and so on and so forth. So these are the things that is driving the internet users in India. And I strongly believe that one, the number of users are going to increase as we move forward. And at the same time, the number of services that these users are going to look for once they come online is only going to expand. So if you look at it, 761 million people having access to internet at this particular point in time, but only 3.4% of the population buying. So there is still a room where there is people who are using internet but not shopping. So that is the next set of population that is going to come on board and start using all the marketplaces that are available in the country. Now, what is driving this penetration in number of internet users? One, as I said, is the smartphone penetration in the country. The other aspect, Sidram, if you can just go to the next slide, please. The other aspect is how cheap it is in India to consume 1 GB of data. So this is just a benchmark of costs. In India, it costs 9 cents for 1 GB of data. The same thing in the Western world is somewhere in the range of $8. And Southeast Asian countries like South Korea, it's at $10.49. So one, there is a population that is waiting to use all this, and at the same time, the ecosystem is enabling that through, say, device penetration, through easy use of data, through the cost structure that we have. And that is largely what is driving the online penetration in India and the e-commerce market. Sidram, you can go to the next slide. Yeah. Here is something that I want to speak about, right? This is pretty interesting. What has happened since COVID hit us? Lockdowns became the norm. The way people do work currently became the norm, changed. Say, for example, I'm sitting at home and providing this presentation when in an ideal world, I would have been in an office doing it. Some of us are privileged to have that opportunity to work from home during these points of time to take care of your family, your friends, etc. At this point in time, I just hope and pray for everybody for their safety and well-being, and hope that we are able to get through this pandemic sound and safe. So I'm just going to take some time to speak about some of the trends that we have witnessed in India, right? What changed once the lockdown hit? Once the lockdown hit, based on the regulations in the country, there were only essential items that were allowed. And slowly, the definition of essentials changed, and more categories started becoming available to customers online. Now it is the full-blown set of categories that we had previously that is available to customers. There was a lot more focus on cooking at home. India is a country where a large part of the urban population have support at home in terms of mates who help them with their cooking needs. But because of the lockdown, because of restriction in people movement, people had to get their hands dirty in their own kitchens. So that meant a lot of kitchen accessories, a lot of kitchen appliances got sold. That put a lot. The pandemic has also put a lot of focus on our consumption habits, right? Not just entertainment, but even the food consumption habits changed. People had a lot more time because they were not going to offices. So they focused a lot more on their fitness. The do-it-yourself culture changed in the country. In India, it was previously about you can hire somebody to do a job for you. But the pandemic changed that. A lot of people have started looking at do-it-yourself kind of tools. There's a lot of focus on health and safety. We have seen spikes in devices like glucometers, oximeters, which have kind of become essential in everybody's houses. Whereas previously people used to go to a lab or a doctor to get these tests done. Work from home, a lot of the furniture, a lot of the spaces in everybody's house is getting remodeled to say, okay, this work from home thing is going to stay with us. It's not going to go off with the pandemic. People do foresee that they will be working from home for at least 20-30% of the time, even if everything opens up. That changes the way people are supposed to redesign the spaces at home. So we have seen trends where people are also looking at inspiration, but at the same time buying goods from e-commerce marketplaces to change this, right? Our fashion category saw a huge change. Before it was the shirts, the formals, the things that people used to buy to go outside. Now it's more about what can I buy through which I'm very comfortable in. So we saw a lot of track pants, we saw a lot of t-shirts. These are categories that saw a spike, and even the brands looked at these trends and started making masks, which became a style statement in the country. People could not go out, so a lot of do-it-yourself beauty and home wellness became the norm. So we have seen this trend over the last 1 year where customer behavior has changed, and to a large extent we have shared these change in customer trend behavior with our brands who are able to innovate and come back with new products to serve customers during these times. Some of these trends might fade away in some time, but a large part of these trends are going to stick. And e-commerce allows us the opportunity to understand these customer trends very quickly, unlike an offline retail where it takes time for somebody to build intelligence as to what's happening and then convey that, and then brands becoming nimble and getting those products online. But in e-commerce, these trends are highlighted pretty quickly, and the seller community is much more nimble and agile in getting the products that customers need at a very fast pace. So this is something about what we have seen in the Indian market. Let's move to the next slide, Sidram. So this is, I'm sure some of you would have seen this. The story is Jeff Bezos wrote this on a napkin. Jeff Bezos is our founder and CEO. He wrote this on a napkin to say that this is what the company strategy is all about. And if you look at this can be applied to any business across the world. Let me just take a stab at explaining what this means, right? At the heart of everything is customer experience. Any business that is starting up or any business that is wanting to scale wants the right sort of customer experience. Once you have the right sort of customer experience, you're able to attract people to come and visit your website or visit your business. And that is what is going to lead to traffic. Customers are going to come, they're going to speak about it, it's going to have word of mouth marketing, and then customers are going to come. Now, once we have a lot of customers coming on, what are you going to do with the traffic? There is a lot of traffic coming in. How do you allow people, businesses to benefit from that? So this traffic is going to encourage sellers to come on to the Amazon marketplace. These sellers are going to bring in selection. And this is how it is going to spring. The more the selection that comes in, the better the customer experience will be. More customers will come in, which will in turn result in more sellers coming in, right? So customer experience can be selection, customer experience can be pricing, customer experience can be convenience. The one thing that sticks across the world is customers across the world want the widest selection at the best possible prices delivered to them the fastest. No customer is going to say, I just need 2 shirts. I don't need any variety. No customer is going to say, instead of $10, I'll buy it at $12. No customer is going to say, I need this in 15 days when somebody is getting it in 2 days. So this mantra of selection coming at the best possible prices and the best possible speed is what customer experience is broadly about. Now, one of the benefits or the side benefit that one is going to get when you start scaling and when you start doing this is the cost benefits. Right? Amazon has built a fulfillment infrastructure. Amazon has built a logistics infrastructure. Amazon as a website, the physical website itself, there are scale benefits to be had. These benefits, the cost benefits because of increased scale, result in a lower cost structure. In the retail parlance, which is not the case in India, but globally, Amazon has retail entities, which would mean lower prices. And the same thing would translate to sellers as well. Once they see lower cost structure to grow business, they're looking at translating that lower cost to customers, to gain more customers. This in turn improves the customer experience and the flywheel spins. So you put energy into each and every aspect of this flywheel, the flywheel spins faster. So that is broadly the mantra of Amazon, where we start with the customer and work backwards. So these are some of the tidbits that I had about the e-commerce industry in Amazon, how Amazon operates in India as well as worldwide. I now leave the floor to Sidram for the next set of slides.
Thank you very much, Karthik. Amazon India launched operations in June 2013. Amazon India is a marketplace, and Amazon India empowers small and medium-sized businesses, that is Amazon sellers, to reach millions of customers. Sellers on Amazon sell products to customers in India. So Amazon India has over 200 million monthly unique visits. Amazon India is the most trusted online shopping brand 3 years in a row now. We also receive orders from 100% pin codes, that is postcodes in India, right? It's the most visited Indian e-commerce website, both on desktop and mobile. So for the companies, for the Turkish companies who are planning to enter India market, right? They can enter India market in 2 ways. Either they can set up their own Indian entity to sell on Amazon, or they can partner with any Indian importer or distributor, and then Indian importer can sell products on Amazon. So for Turkish company, we'll be happy to introduce you to our strategic account managed sellers to bring high quality selection from Turkey to India, offering Amazon Prime benefits to our customers, which means the products to be available in India. We want to offer you flexible business models that you can opt for, which will simplify your business operations. Moving on about Amazon India. Amazon India has hundreds of millions in selection across categories, along with 0.6 million unique sellers. Amazon.in has more than 60 fulfillment centers in 15 states, with a total storage capacity of over 32 million cubic feet. Amazon India's fulfillment network is spread across a floor area of more than 8 million square feet, which is more than line size of 100 football fields, housing millions of items. So Amazon Logistics, last mile model provides best-in-class delivery experience covering tier 2, tier 3 towns, so that we can reach 100% of pin codes, that is postcodes, across India. Our customers have an easy and convenient access towards millions of products across hundreds of categories. Right. We also have Amazon Prime subscription, which is a popular loyalty program across the globe. It not only provides free fast delivery, but along with free fast delivery, the Amazon Prime also provides Prime Video, Prime Music, early deals, and many more. Right? What do I mean by free fast delivery? Delivery in 1 to 2 days is the free fast delivery. Now, I would like to discuss about the fulfillment channels in India. We have 4 fulfillment channels. One is fulfillment center, which is Amazon FCs, Amazon warehouses, which I talked about, which we have over 60 warehouses, and Turkish companies or the sellers can keep the products in Amazon warehouse, and we will take care of the delivery. Second model is the seller flex model, where seller's warehouse gets converted into a part of seller's warehouse gets converted into Amazon warehouse, and Amazon will take care of the delivery, right? And third is easy ship model, where seller need not dedicate space to Amazon, but Amazon will pick the products and deliver it to the customers. We also have MFN model, where seller can use their own shipping options so that they can deliver goods to the customers. Moving on, we also have various sale events at Amazon around the year. We have sale events such as Amazon Great Republic Day sale, which was in Q1 in January. We will have again a Great Indian Sale in May, which is like an upcoming peak event for us. And then we will have Prime Day, which is a global shopping event, which might be in June, July. We are not sure about the dates yet, right? And then we have our biggest shopping festival, which usually starts mid-October to mid-November, which is 1 month long festive season. The Great Indian Festival coincides with the events in India, which is Dussehra and Diwali. And this 1 month long festive season is equivalent to Singles Day in China or Black Friday sale in US. So the Turkish companies which are entering India market, they should look at participating in various of these events, but especially they should get prepared for Great Indian Festival, because that is where the maximum customers will be shopping on Amazon. Moving on, we also have monthly shopping events for FMCG categories such as super value days. 1st to 7th of every month we have super value days, and then we have home shopping sale for home categories or other hard lines, we call it as, which is a monthly shopping sale event. We also have topical events around the festivals and events such as like Raksha Bandhan, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, back to school, and many more. Moving on, so basically we want brands to build digital ecosystem not only on Amazon but also outside Amazon, and brands which work with sellers. These are some of the pointers for the brands to be successful in India market. And whenever a brand comes to us, we give them these pointers and then we help them execute them so that they are successful in India market. Starting with the first pointer, which is A+ cataloging, enhanced cataloging. This will help brands to explain features of products using enhanced content and videos. Second is inventory availability in 5 regions of India. So we divide India in like say 5 regions, East, West, North, South, and Central. Brands should focus on making inventory available in 5 clusters so that products are shipped faster to consumers, enabling Prime. So I wanted brands to focus on A+ cataloging and inventory availability in 5 regions. We also want brands to focus on brand positioning and pricing strategy. Brands should invest time in strategizing on what should be their brand positioning when they enter India market. You may be a mass brand in your country, but may become premium in Indian market. Also, you should focus on keeping same price across the channels, offline and online. So brand positioning becomes an important part of the entire aspect. We also want you to build a brand store on Amazon for free, right? So for example, if you have a brand, say Swiss, so www.amazon.in/Swiss becomes a mini website on Amazon. So we want you to build the brand stores for free on Amazon. We also want you to register your brand through Amazon Brand Registry because the Amazon Brand Registry helps you protect your intellectual property rights. So each brand entering India market, they should specially focus on registering themselves on Amazon Brand Registry so that they can safeguard their brand using the trademark. Next pointer is using of Amazon advertising. The brands can drive traffic to their own products and can do targeted advertising using Amazon advertising or Amazon marketing services. So all in all, these are some of the pointers for any brand to be successful in India market. We also want brands to build digital ecosystem outside Amazon through influencer marketing and content marketing activities, which are very, very important in the brand building and brand awareness perspective. These are some of the links for any brand, and they can understand more about Amazon India, where we have a seller central model, right? And this is a link and you can visit and explore. You can also check more about pricing using the pricing link, brand registry I talked about, and Amazon advertising. So India is a huge market with a population of 1.3 billion people, as Karthik explained, right? It has its own share of challenges when it comes to market entry. Given the complexity of the market, it takes time for companies to understand the environment and develop the right strategy. We are here to assist you in your journey to India market, and hope these links will help you understand Amazon India in more detail. Thank you everyone for taking the time to attend this webinar. Thank you Mrs. Aysun Timur and Mr. Hussain Adin for organizing this session. If you are interested to launch your brand in India, please reach out to Mrs. Aysun. We are working with this team very closely to bring Turkish brands to India market. Please feel free to reach out to us over email. My email ID is skaudaki@amazon.com so that we can launch your brand in India market. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sidram. Thank you, Karthik. Thank you for the valuable information you shared with us. Dear guests, if any of you has questions, now it is the time that we can take your questions one by one. You can share your questions on chat part.
We have a few questions that are flowing in the chat window. Do we start taking them right now?
You can start right away. I think start with Mr. Mehmet Ali. They have a company in Turkey. They produce canned luncheon meat products. We don't have FDA registration. What is? Yes, this is the number one question.
So maybe we'll go one by one and then we'll try to answer that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, please. Yes, the floor is yours.
I'll start with this. Mr. Mehmet Ali, you have a canned luncheon meat products. So in Amazon grocery, right? You would need FSSAI registration in India market to import those products, right? And you can reach out to Mrs. Aisoon for understanding what is FSSAI. I will not get into nitty-gritties of it, but for entering the import for food products, you need to have FSSAI license in India market. That is as per Government of India guidelines. Okay.
And dear guests, any food product, agricultural product, who wants to enter in the Indian market, both physical and online, should be registered under the related ministries and authorities. This FSSAI is the mainstream authority in India, where you should license your food products. And then after it is registered in Indian Food Codex, you will get a permission to sell it physically or online. This is the basic rule. So first, entering into market, you should have to, you will have to register your products in the Indian Codex. Now we can get going with the second question.
Sure.
What is the cost of keeping goods in the inventory of Amazon?
So again, I have shared the pricing link, right? Yes. So you can visit that pricing link which I have shared in my presentation. I will share this presentation with Mrs. Aisoon, and she can share it with the companies, the same entire presentation. But in that link, we have shared the pricing link, and you can go and check what are the cost of keeping goods in Amazon warehouse, right? And you will understand all the details there using that particular link.
Thank you. So question number 3, does your services cover services sector such as law firms?
Just a sec. I think there's a question which is law firms.
It's a question of a law firm. So, Amazon covers services like legal counseling, he's asking.
So no. So we have Amazon Service Provider Network, okay? And Amazon Service Provider Network offer these consultancy services or regulatory requirement. So the brands want to enter India market, they will have to reach out to these regulatory consultants in India. Or if you partner with an importer, then importer can take you, connect you to the regulatory consultant, right? And then you will be able to use their services. Amazon does not provide ourselves, but we have Amazon Service Provider Network, which supports sellers and brands. These are independent entities, and they offer these services.
Thank you. Question number 4. Is there any specific discount for the new Turkish sellers who wants to enter in the Indian market?
So I would not say discount, or rather I will say that we will help you in the entire journey, right? We will guide you through the process, and we will give you a launch plan or a checklist which will help you once you finalize an importer, right? Then we will work with your importer of your choice to launch your products on Amazon.
As Mr. Sidram clearly mentioned, there are 2 ways for entering into Indian market. Way 1 is establishing an entity of own or partnering with a local Indian company located in India. So you will take one of these ways, then explore the ways to sell your products on Amazon. But I mean, during this time, my office, and Mr. Sidram, as Amazon India, will be leading you and guide you on your path. Another question: what is you mentioned in the beginning of your presentation the price of digital data. What is the internet provider used in India providing 1 GB internet data for 9 cents? Why is that cheap?
Karthik, you want to take that?
Yeah, thanks, Sidram. So I was smiling at that question. So in India, we have large internet providers, namely Reliance Jio, Airtel, Vodafone, and a few others who are able to provide these rates to the Indian consumers. We did see a lot of good pricing coming towards customers from these entities, and it continues to stay this way in India. I hope it continues to stay this way in India.
Thank you, Karthik.
Thank you, Karthik. Another question is, does Amazon platform cover greenhouse covers? Greenhouse covers. One of the companies is asking who are dealing with plastic materials, producing plastic materials for greenhouses. Does Amazon cover this category?
I would suggest, while I'm not well versed with what the product type that is being spoken about, what I would suggest is if you can send details of the product to Sidram, we can come back on whether this is a product that has a market in India or not. Specific to it's a very specific product, so that's the reason I'm not able to tell you whether what is the market like for this particular product type. So write to us, as Sidram pointed out, and we will let you know how the market is for this product types.
Okay. Is it possible to store in FBA warehouses in India?
So I'll take that, Karthik. So yes, you will be able to store products in Amazon warehouses. As I explained in my presentation, we have over 60 fulfillment centers, or you can say FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, right? And your importer will store the products in Amazon warehouse. So the flow of goods will be, you will export the products to an importer in India. The importer will get the products in their warehouse first, get all the labeling guidelines and everything cleared. And once that is done, then he can send products to Amazon warehouse. And that is how you will be able to store products in FBA.
Thank you. So it's also explaining your next question, a door-to-door model in FBA model. So how is the process if the company already exists in Amazon Turkey? So another registration is required separately, they're asking.
So, okay. So if you're already a vendor in Turkey, Amazon, we're happy that you already are a vendor on Amazon. Thank you very much, which means you're already selling your products there. But in order to sell your products in India, so as I explained, there should be two ways, right? You need an Indian entity. That's a must to sell on Amazon, right? So, so either you have to establish your Indian entity, or your importer can sell goods to Amazon, or through a vendor model, or through Seller Central, he himself can sell it. So you cannot become a vendor unless you have an Indian entity in India. So you'll have to register separately your entity and then become a seller or vendor on Amazon.
Another question. Another question. As we all know that Turkish hazelnut is very popular, so one of the companies is asking what is the potential of selling hazelnut on Amazon India?
Okay, so I will take hazelnut as a dry fruits category for now, right? If you are looking at food and beverages categories, uh, uh, as Karthik explained, right, healthy packaged foods and cooking at home is another trend. We do have products. We have a complete, a grocery category. You can visit amazon.in/grocery, and you will be able to understand the trends in foods and beverages. And then we have a separate stores for dry fruits. So you will be able to look at what are the trends, and you will be able to promote your products for sure on Amazon.
But most important than promoting the product, I think they first need to open an entity, or they should be partnering with an Indian company before promoting the product, whatever the product is. So another question is, do we need to launch a company in India to send our products to FBA? It is about customs process, I guess. I think we already partly answered this, but do you want to add something to this?
No,
sending to FBA, the company establishing is required or not?
So, as I said, the flow of goods is Turkish company exporting goods to an importer in India, and importer will clear the custom process, right? And the importer will send products to FBA. Turkish company directly cannot send actually.
Okay. Can we use Amazon warehouse without have VAT number? I think this is tax number. She's
I think
mentioning
the GST number.
GST in India it equals to GST. I mean tax, internal tax system. Can we use Amazon warehouse without having a GST number in India?
So again, right, your seller will, or an importer will have the GST number. And
Yes.
Since he's registered as an entity already on Amazon, and he has additional place of business in Amazon warehouse, because of which the seller will be able to send goods, and that is how you will be using the Amazon warehouse.
So another guest is asking about the potential of Turkish furniture sector, which is also popular, like hazelnut, food products. In India, as I know, there's a huge manufacturing capability. What would you say about the furniture sector?
Karthik, you want to take that?
Sure, I'll take that. I did manage furniture for some point in time during my career in Amazon. Very tricky category, but very difficult to delight customers in a category like this because, especially in the e-commerce space, online consumption of furniture is growing. People are becoming more and more comfortable about buying furniture online, which was predominantly an offline space previously because of the large and bulky nature of the product. But a lot of companies in India have established trust with the customer so that people can buy online. There is a lot of manufacturing capability in India, which helps in developing very specific furniture, which is only found in this part of the country. Similarly, I know the Indians are well traveled, especially the urban populace, and they respect and also have a taste for furniture that is coming from global markets. And since you're saying that Turkey is one of the hubs where you find furniture which is very specific and nuanced, customers will be more than happy to explore and experience them. So customers understand what it takes to shop online in furniture. Customers are open to trying out furniture and understand the nuances of Turkish market or other markets that are providing this furniture. So it is in the right space at this particular point in time.
Thank you. Another question is raising that, can we sell heavy machines via Amazon? First, I think this question, let's answer this question. Is there a heavy machine category on Amazon? Sidram? You are mute, Sidram.
Karthik, you want to take that?
Sure. My understanding of what you mean by heavy machines is all the professional do-it-yourself kind, professional drilling equipment.
Industrial. I think he is
industrial equipment.
Industrial equipment. Yes, big like CNC machines, cutting machines.
Cutting machines.
I'm understanding this.
Even I'm assuming that the likes of Stanley Black & Decker, the Bosches of the world, similar to that kind of machines, is what I'm assuming. Yes, we do have categories which are specific to this. We have a category called BIS, which is called as Business and Industrial Supplies, which caters to the B2B market. We also have an Amazon B2B arm, which caters to business customers, not just the B2C customers. And I'm assuming these are the customers who are going to buy these heavy machines. This might not be the typical end users, but these are companies that are buying it for building their businesses, so on and so forth. So there are teams that exist for this, and there is entities which specialize in this. So there is a market for this through the e-commerce channel. Otherwise, through the offline space, yes, it exists. Through the e-commerce, it can happen through these teams.
Okay, can you also share the related links, whoever wants to reach these B2B channels? Maybe your presentation, it is not existing, as far as I understand. This is something out of your scope today. So it would be very good if you share the related links on the chat part of this B2B portal.
Sure.
So he's also asking the GST structure and Amazon charges on this specific sector, but the GST is all about the importers issue, whoever import this segment to India. So they don't need a GST establishment to sell this product. Am I right?
They would need GST.
But the importer needs actually
yes,
to import this.
Correct.
What is the mostly moving goods in India? In the beginning of the slides, they presented, our guests presented the trending sectors in India, but can you just quickly wrap up these sectors again?
Sure, I can speak about that. One of the largest categories that we have is mobile phones and the smartphones. That is actually good because that is what is driving the digital penetration through which people can buy more products through e-commerce portals. So electronics, because it is very functional in nature, it's very spec-based, people know what to expect. So it is one of the products that sells a lot on e-commerce marketplaces in India. Electronics can be mobile phones, your laptops, the accessories involved for electronics. Another category, the categories that I come from, is what we call as other hard lines, which is anything that goes into the house, home, kitchen, home improvement, lawn and garden. These are categories that are witnessing significant growths at this particular points in time. Indians are spending a lot of time decorating their houses, their interiors, and they're more than happy to try out products from across the world to design their houses. Then we have consumables. As I said, the trend in consumables, while we have large established consumer goods, sorry, not consumer goods, the FMCG companies in the country, the likes of Procter & Gamble, the Unilevers of the world, while those exist, there are a lot of small companies that are making very niche products to cater to specific segments of the Indian market. So there is a company called as Wow, which is a beauty product maker, which is going heads on with the companies like, say, Procter & Gamble and Unilever. There is another company called as Bombay Shaving Company, which is giving competition to Gillette. Again, these are fighting battles with established global firms, but these are Indian entities who have identified niches and doing well. So these are product categories that I can think of that are doing really well, and this is mostly everything that is available on Amazon. So most of the categories are seeing good growth on e-commerce marketplaces, and there is adoption across product types amongst the Indian consumer.
Thank you. We have another interesting question. With Amazon Global Program, can Turkish companies who register with Amazon India also reach out to global markets via Amazon India?
I'll take that. So, if you are a Turkish company using Amazon Global Program, like I am assuming that you want to sell from Turkey to other parts of the world. That's anyways available, right? You can Google Amazon Global Selling Program and you will be able to do it. But if you have your products in Amazon India, right, and if your products are in Amazon India, you will be able to use that as well. But using the Amazon Global Selling Program, you will be able to sell to other parts of the world if your products are, say, assuming that they're manufactured in India or their products are currently in India. There are few brands who import from other parts of the world and again export it from here. And that's how the Amazon selling program is structured here in India. You can very well do that. Karthik, would you like to add anything to this?
Yes, this is a possibility through the Amazon Global Store, right? And that can happen to any country that is there in the world where Amazon has a presence. But one of the things that becomes important as we look at serving a particular country or a market is the speed with which you can deliver those products to customers. This is something that I have witnessed where you order something from the global store. Speed is in line with that is the best possible speed, but consumers want to be delighted with speed on a regular basis. So while that exists, if based on your history and trends, you can look at getting the product to that particular country even before an order is placed, so that you can delight customers on speed.
Thank you, Karthik. Another guest is asking whether they could provide software and IT consultancy services through Amazon services.
So I'll take that. Yes, you can become a Amazon service provider. You can become a part of Amazon service provider network in Amazon India or even globally, right? You'll have to list your firm for providing that service, and sellers on Amazon will be able to access your company, and then they will reach out to you directly. So Amazon just lists the service provider, and the sellers will reach out to the companies directly.
Another guest is asking, should we store our products in Amazon India store? I mean, at warehouse she's meaning. Or can we send our products daily or weekly basis from Turkey to directly to customer addresses?
So there are multiple business models on Amazon India, right? If we just talked about Amazon Global Selling Program, right? There are some models where you can even send products from Turkey to India, or assume that your products are listed on Amazon.com, right? Customers in India can shop for that product. But as Karthik explained, speed is very, very important here, right? When a product is outside India, it would take 20 days for a product to be delivered to the customer, right? But if you store your products in India market, then we will be able to deliver products faster to the consumer using Amazon Prime, and we will be able to deliver goods in 1 to 2 days, right? So it is recommended that you send your shipments, in a bulk shipment to India, and then let the importer take care of the rest of the things, rather than sending products, say, daily or weekly.
Okay. Another question is about Turkish originated fertilizers. There is a category for fertilizers products on Amazon.
Karthik, you want to take that?
Yeah, let me take that. This is something that we are building at this particular point in time to serve the farmers' needs in the country. It's still early stages. There are a lot of regulations around it, so we are still trying to figure out how the regulations work and what can be served through the e-commerce channel. So it is not something that is big on e-com marketplaces at this particular point in time. Customers are being served through the offline channels at this time.
Okay. Another guest is asking, how can we provide our travel services at Amazon? Another services question.
Maybe, I mean, right now, we may not be able to answer this, maybe out of the domain for now. So we'll skip this question as such.
Okay. I think you already explained the advantage of being part of Amazon for a Turkish seller. So if you don't mind, I'm just skipping this question. Another guest is asking, should manufacturers focus on retail sales rather than wholesale transactions on Amazon?
Is this question, I think, looks like offline versus online, or Karthik, you want to take a stab?
I'll take that. See, it depends on the type of product. If your product is direct to customer kind of a product, if it's a B2C, business to customer kind of a product, I think the focus should be on retail sales. I think the question is from whether do we need to have a distribution structure in the country to serve end customers. If the question is that, then e-commerce allows you to directly serve customers through Amazon, Flipkart, or whatever the other marketplaces that are available in India, right? So those things gets eliminated. There are a lot of brands in the country which are going direct to customer, which are talking to customers directly, like the brand that I spoke about, Wow, Bombay Shaving Company in the consumable space. They're going directly to customers and talking to them. So e-commerce provides you that opportunity, but if your product type is a business to business kind of a product, then it's a completely different supply chain altogether.
Our commercial attaché is raising a question. You know, Indian custom duties are very high nowadays, especially in Turkish home products are around 20 to 25%. And as you well stated in the beginning of your presentation, Amazon's main strategy is keeping the prices lower because the market is very price sensitive. In this scenario, what do you think, how Turkish companies can be successful and competitive, and how they differentiate from made in India products other than pricing? What they should do to sell their products?
Got it. I will just make an Uber comment here. Amazon in India does not mandate pricing for sellers. It's the sellers who choose the pricing. What Amazon provides is the infrastructure and enabling sellers to reach to customers. And we are doing it in a very efficient manner at this particular point in time. And using that, sellers can choose what to price the product at to manage their business. India is one market, but there are different types of customers that are there. We have, say, vacuum cleaners worth INR 50,000 being sold. At the same time, there are vacuum cleaners worth INR 2,000 being sold. And we're talking about a category like vacuum cleaners, which are very functional in nature, right? So there is a different kind of market for different types of products. So apart from price, quality is a big differentiator in the Indian market. And I said previously, customers do understand the different quality markers that are there and do understand why they're paying a certain premium for a certain product based on the features that are available. So it is not just pricing, it is the brand, it is the quality that the customer is paying for, it is multiple other aspects other than just price that determines who gets into the Amazon, who gets into the Indian customer.
Dear guests, we have only 5 minutes, if I'm not wrong. So I'm just cutting the questions a little bit and overlapping. There are some also overlapping questions. I would like to, if you don't mind, take the last question. Is there a fresh apple segment on Amazon? I think there is Amazon Fresh providing fresh fruits for customer. Since this apple is a growing sector for Turkey to India, can you just say something about this? What about fresh fruit segments?
So I'll take that. We do not. So since we are not part of Amazon Fresh, so we do not know the volumes of business happening because we've not seen the data. But if I look at the fresh Amazon Fresh as a model, where we are focusing on 2-hour delivery and focusing on fruits and vegetables, delivering fruits and vegetables to our customers. So Amazon Fresh is available in 4 cities in India for now, and that is the channel, and it's a complete different team which takes care of apples and cherries. So please reach out to us, and then we can connect you to that Amazon Fresh team, and then they will lead the discussion into that matter, and they'll give you more insights on how products are performing.
Okay. Thank you, Sidram. Thank you, Kartik. Thank you for joining us. I think we have just completed today's session. Gökhan Bey, am I right? I think we're about to finish. So,
Yes.
5 minutes. It just. We have another questions, but they are basically covering the general rules and procedures, taxes in India. Anytime you can reach us, the commercial offices in India. There is one in Mumbai, and there is one in New Delhi, and there are 4 commercial counselors working for you. Anytime, reach us to our offices for your general and specific questions. It should be whether general for country information or sector specific. So I'm just checking the last questions. I think it is. It has finished. Yes, I would like to once again say that we are going to drop the presentation for us after this meeting, and you can just reach out the whole video on the website, official website of Ministry of Trade of Turkey. So if you don't mind, I would like to end this session. And thank to our guests, Mr. Kartik Subarayapya and Sidram Kalduki from Amazon India. They try to lay down the rules and procedures and the sectors and the trends and everything essential for entering into Indian market and the things for selling products on Amazon India. So if you have some specific questions, and if you think that your questions has not answered completely, you can just anytime raise your questions to our offices. Thank you everyone for joining us. See you another time. Thank you, Sidram. Thank you, Kartik.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.